Listen up. Let's go, let's go.
Welcome to Trojans Live, the exclusive USC Trojans coaches show.
Williams will keep. He'll run it to the 20, to the 15, down to the 10, 5, and into the end zone.
With behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Fires. It's intercepted by Bullock at the 20. He's at the 10. He's in the end zone. It's a touchdown, USC. Kalen Bullock, the All-American. How do you do?
Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Now, live from Los Angeles, here are your hosts, Sean Cody and Keely Orr.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on AM 790 KABC and across the USC Trojans Media Network. I'm Keely Orr, filling in for Jordan Moore tonight. He's covering men's basketball soon in 2 hours. I'm joined by the All-American Sean Cody for tonight's episode, and we're joined by the head coach, Lincoln Riley. Coach, thanks so much for spending time for us. I know there's a lot going on right now, so we appreciate it.
Of course.
The USC head coach interview is presented by iTrust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, obviously, like I said, a lot has transpired in the last 48 hours. Sean Nua, Brian Odom are elevated. What did you see from them in order to give them this co-defensive opportunity?
Yeah, I think they've done a great job with their guys. And anytime you have a situation like this, you start to look at, okay, you know, who would be the next man up, really, and just in the same way that you would for an injured player or anything like that. And I think they both have great experience, coaching their positions. They both have had great experience being in other really good institutions, been in different situations, and just felt like they have a good grasp on the pulse of our guys, and felt like just the pairing of those two would be exactly what we needed to obviously get a chance to go up here and get a win at Oregon this weekend.
Coach, always tough with a midseason change like this. What are you hoping to see? What are you hoping the sparks in the defense in these last couple of games that can really help them out?
Yeah, we just playing more consistent. I think we put ourselves throughout the season in some positions to make plays, to finish drives, to finish games, and then that's when you have to capitalize, like especially against good teams. We've had this will be game 8 of a pretty tough stretch here of great competition week in and week out, and we've been agonizingly close. I mean, we're it's like a gut punch right now. I mean, we're 2 snaps of football away from being undefeated in this conference, and that is, it's obviously it's tough to swallow on one hand, and then the second piece of it is, though, but you're only 2 snaps away. You're that close to winning these games and to finishing these games off, and this team is, certainly capable of doing that here in the last couple of weeks in the season. And so certainly hoping that and expecting that those guys will do a great job, that our defense will rise up to the occasion and play a little bit more consistent here this Saturday.
We all know the reputation that Taylor Mays has on the field, but I don't think fans are used to him in the coaching role. What have you seen from him behind the scenes that gave you confidence that he would do well in this on-the-field role?
Yeah, Taylor's been, really just a great addition to our staff. Was here the day we came, and really just had that attitude of, what can I do to help the program? And it was no job too big, no job too small. Was here to learn, has been, just very invested in everything we've done really from day one. And it's just been impressive to watch, his climb. It's no surprise getting to know him over the last, close to 2 years now that he was the player that he was. You see it in his dedication, his passion, his work ethic. He's learned a lot here in the last couple of years, and I think has a good pulse of our guys. I think our guys respect him certainly, and what he did here, what he's done on the field, and I think just that combination, made it right to give him this opportunity, and I think he'll take it and run with it, and I think the guys will respond and play very well.
Coach, after the game, you've talked about it now. I think I've heard you reference it a couple of times about building these scars, right? And the lessons you have to kind of go through to get to the level of football that you want to get, and kind of talk through that a little bit. I know some people hear that and you're like, losses you don't want those things to happen, but some of these lessons are hard in football, and you have to go through them and fight through those moments to build that character in those moments that you can. When you see the future, you can see, all right, we've been through these moments, we're ready to battle, we're battle tested, we can push on.
Oh, for sure. I mean, listen, greatness is typically on the other side of a door that most people aren't willing to go through. Most people aren't willing to persevere through the difficult times, but it does. It gets you more ready for it. There's no question. I've kind of been through this at other places, and that's just.
I had two. I don't know if you know. I went 0-16 in the NFL. I had some scars from losing football
That's
games.
a lot of scars.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yes, but no, it's. I think when you do take a step back and look at the overall evolution of the program, a lot of times it's you don't want it, right? You want just the dream to come in and win them all right from the very beginning, and go win the national championship your first couple of years. Like everybody, of course, everybody would love that, but that's not always reality. And from where this was when we took it over, from where we want it to be. I mean, obviously we've made a ton of progress. There's no question about it. But you do have to go through some of this. You are going to have tough stretches of games. You're going to have a loss. You're going to have, a game where you don't play well. And as the program elevates, and you think about, I think about all the young guys in our program right now that are contributing, right? All the young guys that we recruited that are here, that are being developed, kind of that real first class. Like, these guys are all getting a front row seat, whether they're playing or not, into, what it really takes. Yeah. And you start to build that recognition within the program, and then all of a sudden you look up here in a couple of years and all of these guys have been through it, and they've all seen it, and they've all learned from it, and they're more ready. When you build it like we built it to try to give ourselves a chance to have success early, and we've done that. I mean, we were a quarter away from the playoff last year. We still have a lot of things to play for this year, and again, we've done some good things. We've been agonizingly close to the things that we haven't accomplished, but we've been right there. Like, we have been right there both years, and that is a tremendous start. It's not where we want to end. It's not where it's going to end. There's a lot of really, really bright times ahead for everyone that cares about USC football, but you have to embrace the process. You have to learn through these experiences. We will certainly be better for it. And even, zooming back in, I want this team to be better for it. We've went through a lot here the last few weeks. Like, let's be better from it. Let's learn from it. Let's let it galvanize us and really go be at our best these last couple of weeks.
Building off of that, I feel like this season has highlighted just how small the margin of error is, especially in a conference like the Pac-12 that's so good this season. As a competitor, how do you handle that when the margin is so small?
Well, it's fun. I mean, it's fun, playing other good teams, other good players, other good staffs. I mean, the competitor in you loves the competition, and that part's been great. But yeah, when you play, like watch NFL football, right? How many NFL games come down to the end, come down to a 2-minute drill or a special teams play? I mean, it's an incredibly high percentage because there is parity, there is really good competition, and that's, this league has had a little bit of that this year, and it's a fantastic league. We've had a chance to obviously win every single game that we've been in, and that's, I think going forward with all that's changing in college football, I think there's going to continue to be a lot of parity and a lot of great opportunities that go along with it. So yeah, you got to embrace it, and you can't just embrace it, when it goes well for you. Like okay, if Eric Gentry's hand goes a quarter of an inch higher and we block that field goal against Utah, does that all of a sudden change, your motivation to come out and work and get better and win the next week? It's you can't let these one play here or there change your mindset, your commitment level to this program, yourself at getting better, us as coaches. You got to continue along the journey, and you got to continue to keep swinging and keep battling. And in my history, the teams that do that, the people that do that, find a way to be there in the end and find a way to get better from it.
Last one for me from last week, Coach. A tough loss, and you mentioned the plays that you a couple plays here and there, and that could have maybe sparked that thing. What were the turning points in that game where you thought, if we get this thing right here or this thing right here, this might turn the right direction for us?
Oh, there was. The three that stick out to me would be the 3rd and 15 scramble. That we had a chance to sack the quarterback and gets out, and we had two defensive players match on one player, which you can't do, and left the guy in the back of the end zone. They made a tremendous play on a pretty risky throw. Obviously, the sequence before half, right? The fumble in the 2-minute drill, and then obviously giving up the touchdown there. And then, I mean, unquestionably the biggest play of the game was the holding call that took a touchdown off the board. And it's just, it's kind of been that kind of year. It's, I think, 3 out of 4 games we've had a touchdown taken back, by penalty. And we've, they've all been, not egregious calls. Some of those that are, those 50-50, maybe a little bit less that they get called. And sometimes they do. And if a few of the games we've been able to overcome that, and a couple obviously we haven't been good enough to. But that game was a one-play game. I mean, it was one play, tipping the scales one way or another, and 2 good teams going at it. And a lot of times that's how those are going to finish. But obviously frustrating that we didn't make that play to push it over the edge.
We'll come back and look ahead at Oregon. Monster Energy is the official energy drink of USC. Unleash the Beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechongo Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. Like I said, we'll be back with the head coach to preview USC's matchup against Oregon next on Trojans Live.
Always better when it comes to your airport. Start planning your next journey today at SoCalSoEasy.com.
Covering the Trojans on the field.
Caleb keeps it, rolls right, steps up, steps back, steps forward.
Moving.
Is damn near impossible. Luckily, they do it from behind the mic. It's Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football. AM 790 KABC.
Fight on, Trojans, and fly on with O&T. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to book your journey through O&T today. We're back here on Trojans Live with the head coach, Lincoln Riley. I'm Keely Orr, filling in for Jordan Moore with the All-American Sean Cody. We're talking about Oregon, the matchup on Saturday. Coach, when you've been scouting the Ducks, what have you seen so far off of film?
It's a good football team. You know, they've gotten some momentum here this part of the year. You know, they've obviously led by quarterback. Obviously, Bo's played, you know, at a high level for him. You know, I think he's got now more starts than anybody in the history of college football. I think he broke the record here, I think, two games ago. Yeah. So I recruited Bo a little bit out of high school and got to know him, and he's a neat kid. It's been good to see, you know, this second part of his journey going well, and he's done a good job. They've got really good skill sets around them, a couple of really good backs, a couple of really good receivers, and have done a nice job offensively. Defensively, they're playing well. Certainly are. I mean, they've got some really talented players at all three levels of the defense, and have done a nice job. So, yeah, complete team. Really good football team. They obviously lost a tough one up there at Washington, but other than that, have played really well, and been impressive to watch them on tape.
Coach, have you been up to Autzen before?
No, first time.
First trip to Austin. What do you expect to see? Obviously, I played there a few times. Crazy rowdy house, but when it's your first time going in there, what are you calling up other coaches? Like, all right, what are we going to expect?
Yeah, we've got a few guys on our staff, obviously that have coached there, and I know a lot of people that have. And so, yeah, I mean, I enjoy these, man. I love great road atmospheres. I know it'll be a fun atmosphere there Saturday night. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think this is one of the fun things about being here at USC and being in a new league is these different opportunities that it creates. And yeah, and I think for honestly for our situation right now, to be at a point where you got to go bond together and go into a tough road atmosphere, a hostile environment, I think fits us right now and fits the situation.
When it comes to a quarterback like Bo, when you have scouted him and recruited him, do you kind of check up on your projection and how that compares? Like, did you expect what we're seeing from Bo right now?
Yeah, I mean, you never know all the twists and turns,
Sure.
That the guy's career is going to take, and I think Bo's a great example of, it's so important for quarterbacks and all players, to find the right fit, and he certainly has found the right fit there and has done a really good job, and he kind of had an up and down career, but I mean, he's a great example. We were talking about before at the team, right? He took his lumps at Auburn. Yep. He got his scars, right, a little bit, and now. All that experience that he's been through, is certainly paying off, and he's played at a high level. So yeah, I mean, getting to see his skill set up close in high school and getting to know him a little bit. I'm not surprised that he's having the kind of year and kind of career that he's had here, especially the last 2 years.
Yeah, tremendous at the quarterback position. The Ducks are, but when I turn on the film, I notice those running backs, Bucky Irving and Jordan James. Those guys really pop, and I really think that they're the driving force when I watch it behind. Because I'm like, hey man, you got to stop those guys. Obviously, Bo Nix, talented quarterback, but I'd be focusing on those running backs. How do you slow those guys down?
Yeah, no question, and they do a good job. Using tempo, using several different run schemes to get those guys the ball, and they're different. They've got different skill sets, but they're both explosive players. They've both been very productive. They both break a lot of tackles, and especially Irving. I mean, he's a guy that you gotta do a good job really getting him to the ground. Other people getting to the party.
Yeah, not a big guy either, too. He's kind of gets hidden in there.
He does. He's got great contact balance and a really good feel for what they're doing schematically. So yeah, like I said, they've got good players, a good scheme, a good leader there in Bo, who kind of leads the thing, and certainly have made life difficult for the opposing defenses.
As far as USC's run game, I thought Austin Jones did a great job, averaging 11.5 yards per carry on Saturday. What do you take from Saturday's game into Autzen?
Yeah, I mean, the positives, I think the run game was certainly a huge positive. We ran the ball well. Austin ran well. Darwin came in and had a great, couple play series there for us. I thought the line against a really talented Washington front, I thought our offensive line did a really nice job, and we've taken some real positive steps there in the last few weeks. So excited about that. Once again, made some plays on special teams. Deuce coming in and blocking that punt was a huge play in the game. Huge play in the game. And so there was still a lot of bright spots special teams wise that certainly showed up as well. So, I mean, listen, when you're a play away from beating a top 5 team, you did a lot of good things, and there's a lot to build on, and there's a lot of excitement, and we got to go play a couple plays better this weekend.
Coach, when you watch Oregon defensively, they haven't been really talked about as a great defense, but every week you look up and you're holding teams under 20 points and playing well. What do you see from them defensively?
Yeah, they've got some talented players at all 3 levels. They're a pretty experienced defense when you look at the age of the guys that are playing, and yeah, they've done a nice job. They really have. They've done a pretty good job against the run, against the majority of people that they've played. They've got a couple of good players in the back end. A couple corners are playing well. They've got a kid as a free safety that we played against at Fresno State last year. that's a very good player. That's been a great addition for them. They're a big front. They're big. They've got a lot of size. They've got a little bit of length there, and so it's a talented group. They're they, like other good defenses, force you to go execute, force you to make plays, force you to earn it, and that'll be that type of game.
Well, we can't wait to see how the Trojans respond in Eugene. Kickoff is at 7:30 on Fox, so be sure to tune in. The Trojan Tailgate Show starts at 5:30, so tune in on the radio as well. Don't wait until game time to plan for retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital is the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, you mentioned the offensive line play. We got one of them coming up next. Veteran captain Justin Dedich is next on Trojans Live.
Locker room without the fear of, getting arrested. It's Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
The best in the game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of USC Athletics, helping the world keep promises. Welcome back to Trojans Live. I'm your host, Keely. You're filling in for Jordan Moore, and I'm joined by the All-American Sean Cody. And like I mentioned, we have a veteran presence on the show, Justin Dedich. Excited to have you on. Thanks for coming on. Obviously, Saturday was not the outcome you wanted, but as your head coach just mentioned, it was a great offensive performance. Offensive line played well. What do you take away from Saturday's game, and what do you do in Oregon in that sense?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on as well. It obviously didn't go our way. Like you said, it was one of those games, one or two plays away. But yeah, I am proud of the O-line. I think that Notre Dame week was one of our lowest weeks as an O-line. Didn't play too well. But we've rallied from that point, and would say, run game, we did pretty well, and just credit to Murphy, Kingston, Jonah, E-Man. Just, we kind of hit rock bottom there, so we built back up. Great group of guys, and really excited for this offense rolling into this week against Oregon. Sorry, what was the remainder of the question?
I mean, what do you take from your game on Saturday into Oregon?
Yeah.
Just talk about whatever you want. Don't answer questions.
You're the veteran.
Just let it roll, bud.
Okay, sounds good. Just kind of trying to build off that. It was cool. Coach Henson, I knew watching the film it wasn't a bad performance by us. And so we went into meeting this morning, and he was nitpicking us like we had the worst game of our lives, which I'm not complaining about. I want that from a coach. Yeah. It was just it's awesome to have that on staff. He's like, see this right hand placement, Justin, on this back block? He's like, that's terrible. I almost cursed. Sorry.
Proud of you,
That's terrible. He's like, put the hand right under his chest. Just things like that. And so I know with a coach like that and the guys we got in our room, I'm super excited for us to play Oregon this weekend. Talented, very big, very powerful. So, yeah, just really excited to go up to Eugene, too. First time, been here for 6 years, never played in Eugene. Crazy. I know, everyone's shocked. I tell them that. Like, how's it been playing there? I'm like, I've never played
I would have figured you've been in every stadium in America already.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. No. I've been in Texas.
All right.
That was loud. No.
So talk about your you mentioned your group a little bit here, and it's been a year where you were kind of, when the season started, it was a group that was kind of unsettled, right? You didn't kind of really know. It was kind of a lot of mix and match and early in the year. Then you said you have a tough one against Notre Dame, and you guys made some changes, and now you kind of solidified that group. Talk about, you know, the whole year as it encompassed the whole thing, is like, because you're riding it through it the whole time. The guys coming in and out. When you get together with your group there, what is that like when you finally find and you're kind of your 5 guys and you lock into it and you guys are playing good ball?
Yeah, well, I mean, comparing it to last year is a tough thing.
Yep.
You know, those are my brothers. You know, I came up with them for the last 4 years,
Yep.
and so that group has been solidified. We already had all of our bumps and bruises early on, in some of those rougher years. And so this year, you know, you're just seeing some of those bumps and bruises of a new group, because O-line's all chemistry.
Yep.
One guy doesn't do well, makes the whole group look bad.
Yep.
So it's just kind of battling through that. And then one thing I told the guys is, like, stay off social media. Like, you guys don't need to see that. Like, yeah, they're gonna talk crap. They're fans, or just they're spectators. Like, you can't let that affect your game, or you won't play it to your standard. It's like, just keep doing what Coach Henson says.
Head down.
Keep believing in the group. Yep. And I think we've done that these last few weeks, so I'm super proud of the guys. Obviously not perfect, a lot to work for, but it's meshed really well, and I'm getting really close with these guys. Beginning of the year, you know, there's a lot of young guys. I'm the old guy, so a little different than last year, you know. For any of the new guys coming in, they were coming into a veteran room, so they probably felt a little outcast. For me, it's like, oh, I'm the old guy. No one wants to hang out with me anymore. But yeah, we've gotten really close, and it's been a great unit this far, these last couple of weeks. So
it's interesting, because I think an underrated storyline of the season is the fact that you switched over to center, and I think it's a testament to your talent that people were like, oh, that's totally fine, just switch over, Justin. It's totally fine. But how has that progression gone for you? You were comfortable at guard. You came in as a top center prospect, but going back to center, what was that like for you?
Yeah, didn't play too much at center when I first got here. And then luckily, you know, Brett beat me out early on. Obviously a great center, learned a lot from him. Then I got the opportunity to go play guard and felt like I got really good at guard. And then I came back to center. You know, obviously I had some issues too, still do sometimes, get Tourette's or something out there, flinch once a game. Sorry, I was trying to make a joke.
Sorry.
I like it.
I was trying to make a joke of that. Trying to be lighthearted. Yeah, you know, not always perfect, but it's been one of those growing things as our group's grown together. You know, I feel like I've got more comfortable at center too. Yep. And it's just like overall confidence. You know, it just kind of elevates everyone's game. You know, having Jonah, Emmanuel Pregnon, that kid's going to be an NFL talent one day. Just seeing his growth from day one to now is unreal. He's dominating the line of scrimmage. You know, just those long arms and. He's just
confidence too. Every time I see him, he's always telling me, I could block you too. All right, man.
You guys see his Postmates commercial?
No.
Oh, with Caleb and all of us? Oh, it was hilarious. We're like spitting orders, and then he goes, I want extra protein. I'm like, it's fine. That's E-Man. Bro's got like 3 plates of food every meeting.
Wow.
He's just chowing the entire time. He's 310, but
Love just cut. Yeah,
he's Ronnie Coleman on bulk. You know what I mean?
He's a big dude, man.
Big human being.
Justin, take us through this play here in the game. We have Zachariah Branch carrying it to the left side. It looks like he's going to reverse field and just take off, and then he pitches it back, and we get a nice throw to Taj Washington. How long did you have to block for on that play? Because it seemed like the longest play that had ever been run in college football.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have much confidence in that play.
Wow.
We ran it throughout the week, and it was like, I don't know, it would work, it wouldn't work, and I was like. He called it in the game. I was like, all right, let's just go with it. Block for as long as I need to. We ended up scoring. So Coach Riley knows way more than me. He knows better than me. Obviously, that's been proven before. But yeah, it was an awesome play, and I'm super glad it worked out.
You were just sitting there.
Yeah,
like, oh, when
probably
is he going to throw the ball?
5-6 seconds, you know. We didn't know how long we had to block for. I didn't know where Caleb was going to end up. One practice, he's all the way over there on the left side throwing the ball, middle of the field, right hash, like all different scenarios. So it was just kind of one of those plays you just got to block for as long as you can.
Just hold up.
Yep.
How much have you had to learn in the last 2 years with Caleb to just block as long as you can and figure it out on the fly?
You got to learn to let go with Caleb back there, or you'll get the holding call.
Fair, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like
And you start feeling that guy like try to pull away.
you just like, all right, he's gonna make a miss.
free.
Yeah, he's gonna make a miss. So, yeah, definitely different than years past, but he's a special talent, and so block for as long as I can for him.
Makes sense.
You know, he's gonna make something happen.
Makes sense.
Big one this weekend, right? It's a big one. You got 2 big ones to finish it. This thing is still up for grabs. The Pac-12. How are you guys gonna get this one?
Yeah, I think it's just important that we rally from this loss. It's weird these last 2 games that we haven't come out on top. It's not been from a lack of fight per se. I felt like our groups fought really hard this year. Like even Arizona.
Yeah.
That is I don't know what their ranking is, but that is a great team, and for us to fight back and come win that game is just a huge testament to what this team has in them. Willingness to play all 4 quarters. So it's not from a lack of effort, lack of fight. It's just, lack of focus, I would say, certain things, myself included. So it's just how focused can we stay in every play, not having that little lapse in judgment, letting fatigue creep in. I think that will be the difference in seeing those 3 plays like Coach Riley's talked about and winning and losing. So.
Alrighty, Justin. Well, good luck to you guys, and thanks so much for the time. We always appreciate it. Hey, Trojan fans, do you know that the Rouse app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons, and you can earn fuel points too? Check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Rouse, proud sponsor of the USC Athletic Department. And Monster Energy is the official energy drink of USC. Unleash the beast. Alrighty, up next, we got a top talent from women's tennis joining the show. Stay tuned.
How do you do? This is how we do it.
Let's get you back to more Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
Want the scoop, inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart & Final. It's a free newsletter that'll hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. The Women's Spotlight is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market. Open 7 days a week. Visit your neighborhood Sprouts for good-for-you groceries and great prices on the freshest produce. Like I mentioned, it's the Women's Spotlight. Welcome back to Trojans Live. I'm your host, Keely Orr, joined by the All-American Sean Cody. Our next guest is sophomore Emma Charney of women's tennis. Emma, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Now, you concluded the fall season, I will say, of women's tennis. Could you explain how the seasons work? Because I feel like I'm used to, fall season only, spring season only, but you guys are year-round, right?
Yeah, we're basically year-round. So even though this wasn't like our main season, it felt like our main season. I've been gone like so much. So in the fall, we are mainly competing like in individual tournaments. So this season I had 4 tournaments, and then the spring is our main season where we compete as a team and have dual matches, and that's when the team NCAAs and individuals tournaments occur.
Well, tell us about your season, your fall season. It sounds like you killed it. Some wins. What do you got? How was your fall?
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, to start, I started on like kind of a rough note. Couldn't really find my game, and like it was very frustrating. And then our last 2 tournaments were regionals and fall nats. In fall nats, you have to qualify. So I went to regionals, kind of had a rough start, and went to regionals with like a completely new mindset. And it's a long tournament. So I started off like 2 matches the first day, which is a lot on the body, and continued to build my game and my mindset for each match, and ended up like having such a great week, and I couldn't have done it like without my teammates and my coach. So if you final that tournament, you qualify for fall nats. So I qualified for fall nats, which is like a super big accomplishment. And then I ended up making the semis. And the tournament was only 32 players, so it was like the best college players right now. So I'm super happy with how my fall ended, and I can't wait to like translate that into the spring.
So all that changed was the mindset, and that's what clicked in your game. What was that mindset item? So it wasn't technique stuff. It was just something clicked in your mindset.
Well, honestly, I just started playing my game. Like my game, I like to like use variety, very gritty. Like I'll work for every point. So I kind of just started playing my game and had my mindset and made sure I had a clear strategy for every point, every game. And yeah, I can get like a little negative sometimes on the court. So I had to make sure to like be positive, and my coach was like a really big help in that matter. So yeah, there was a few things I just had to put together to like make sure I'm playing my best tennis.
Now that you look back on it, how do you evaluate the growth you made from the mental standpoint? Like, as you mentioned at the start of the season, you weren't where you wanted to be, and yet you finished at the semifinal level just this past weekend. How would you evaluate how you've grown in that sense?
Yeah, I've grown a lot in that sense, honestly. And it's also helped me to build confidence. Like, I don't think I could have ever finished how I did without the confidence, and that's just like playing more matches, beating good players to help me like feel like I can play my best, and also just putting in all the hard work has really helped me like build confidence and get to where I've gotten so far.
You talked about your game a little bit, being gritty out there. Now, as far as technique, are you a net player? Are you back off the net, backhand, forehand, service? Where's your game? Where's your strength at?
Well, I'm happy if I hit like one volley a match. Okay. So yeah, the net is not really
off the net.
Yeah. I like to play defense, but I've recently been trying to incorporate offense and trying to take away time, step into the baseline. But yeah, my favorite shot's my backhand, so I like to, pin aside or try to wear down my opponent, because I'm just going to make more balls than them, and I like to like be gritty and use my fitness. So, no matter what it takes, like I'll stay on the court as long as it takes to beat you.
Yeah.
Someone we've had on the show multiple times is Erin Caetano, and that's someone who I believe this fall you became doubles partners with. What was that process like to become partners with her?
Yeah, it was super fun. Obviously, she's very experienced, 5th year. So it's been super fun. Like, we started at All-Americans. We had a great run, and then played regionals and fall nats. But yeah, by the end, she was just calling all the plays, like she's very good at doubles, so it was really cool to like have her help me and just like show me the ropes. And I think we made a really good team, and it was super fun to start playing together, and hopefully we'll get to play more in the spring.
So fall's over, spring's coming up. Where are we at? Are we in training time? Are we doing heavy lifts? Are we doing
She
disc
just
technique?
finished a tournament, Sean.
What are we doing here? We got to get ready for spring, Keely. We're not playing
Okay,
around this year.
coach.
We're taking
Yeah.
it to spring.
gotta get that ring.
Where's the training at right
Of
now?
course.
So right now we just entered 8 hours again.
Okay.
So sadly we like can't practice that much. But hopefully we'll do some like heavy fitness and stuff since we're not competing anymore. But it's definitely like more limited practices, which just means more practicing on our own.
So it's a little bit off right now, and then when is the big push start coming?
Beginning of January.
Okay.
Yeah, we start competing like the second weekend of January. So
How do you stay focused? I mean, that's such a holidays and eating and all that stuff, but then you're right back in it in January. How do you stay focused for the next couple of months?
yeah, it is tough, but I mean, we're all so committed and we all have the same goals. So I know like even when we go on our winter break, like all of us will still be training at home, getting in shape, staying in shape, and getting ready to come to the spring to just bring it.
Who's a pro that you like to watch, or you kind of tailor your game after?
Honestly, I'm not really sure who I'd tailor my game after.
So who do you enjoy watching then?
Yeah, on the women's side.
Yeah. Or men's, women's, whatever.
Well, I definitely like to watch Serena. But now I'd say Coco Gauff. Like she's so inspiring.
Yeah.
I mean, she's younger than me, and she has such a good game. And what she's like done. I mean, I can't believe she won U.S. Open, which is super inspiring. So I like to watch her. Yeah.
Your sister plays at Michigan. What's that like having someone at that same, your peer is your sister in that sense?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm super happy for her. She's loving it so far. We always train together, like over Thanksgiving break, like we'll be hitting every single day. So it's super fun to like continue to push each other and motivate each other. But yeah, we're actually playing Michigan in February.
Wow.
So that will be insane. I don't think we'll play each other though, because that would make a war.
Civil War, that'd be
So you
Yeah.
must have grown up playing against each other and competing. Were you guys ultra competitive growing up in tennis?
Yes, yeah. We've always been super competitive. We've only actually competed against each other once in doubles.
Did the parents go half jerseys, or what,
Yeah.
how did the support go on that?
I don't remember. Like, we were so young, but I'm sure, I don't know what they're going to do. Probably hat, USC, shirt, Michigan when we go up there in February. But yeah, it's super fun to see us both like at such a high level in college tennis.
Awesome. Well, Emma, thank you so much for the time. Good luck with the next couple months and with January and how that starts up. Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC football. Next up is the football roundtable with Sean and I. Kind of the football ping pong segment, I guess, Sean?
I don't know, just a talk.
Stay tuned. We'll be next.
Rising up, pushing up to the summit. Got the keys to the show, yeah, we run it. Set the pace for the race, and we don't wait. Give it all for the win, this is our day. Energy, energy, unleash the inner beast. Energy, energy, rising to the top. See you at the peak. Unleash the inner beast, but we never stop till the victory.
USC!
It's Trojans Live on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
Welcome back to Trojans Live. It's the football roundtable segment. Sean, ping pong
Yeah,
segment?
it's a round table right there.
It's a round table, correct.
I have to turn it. This is the first time I've ever looked this way.
We're like awkwardly positioned. It's fully fine.
Yeah, the whole thing is going up. Ben's over here. This is nice.
Unlike Jordan, I'm going to put you to work, Sean.
All right.
Please just say ad read, please.
I wrote this down right now. When you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all buena. Stone.
Buena Besa.
There you go. Salt and Lime Lager is Baja inspired and imported from San Diego. Located near you at fine.stonebrewery.com. Cheers.
Well done. See, you should be doing this, not me. Well, Sean, it is the football roundtable segment. Like I mentioned, we got to talk about Saturday's game. Some positives, like we've identified so far on this show, but obviously a change was made by head coach Lincoln Riley. Overall, just where do you stand right now with the state of the program right now?
Yeah, it's tough. I've been a part of teams that have made during the season changes at coordinator positions or coaching positions, and it's tough. It's difficult. You're on one aspect, especially in college. The recruiting is involved, and there's a lot of things that kind of roll into this. So I think it was time for something. I think everyone kind of felt that way. I think it's obviously a tough thing to do because how much do you get out of that change? I think is important to always think about because just because you change doesn't mean things are going to change. But hopefully, you're trying to spark something with the guys. Something that Coach Nua or Coach Odom can kind of spark in them to get a little better performance because it just wasn't up to snuff really if you're being honest and that's why the change occurred. The defense hasn't played better in a couple weeks, and it just seemed like it needed something to change. And I think this is a needed change. And this in the coaching profession, this happens. This is part of it. If you're not doing your job, you're not getting it done. Someone's gonna fall for that. So right here we're with Alex Grinch, and he gave it his all, and now we're gonna see if somebody else can step in and try to find it out.
In that sense, what's a realistic expectation to have for this defense on Saturday? We've mentioned it's a tough Oregon offense,
yeah.
So it's hard to have that as a litmus test. But what do you expect?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. If you're being quite honest, Oregon is an offense that's they've got it rolling right now. You watch them week in, week out, and they're putting points on the board. And we definitely struggled against a Washington team that was kind of in the same manner. A little different ways they attack you. I mean, obviously, Bo Nix is a quarterback who can beat you with his arm, beat you with his legs. Mm-hmm. Michael Penix was a little bit more pocket quarterback, and a talented running backs we've mentioned already at Oregon. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be. They're going to have to find some leaders, I think, on this team to be like, hey guys, this has got to be. We've crossed the threshold here. We've lost a coach on the way here, and the players got to take accountability for what has happened because it's on them too. They're not performing at a level high enough, or a standard high enough to play good defense, and so. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be, but it's quite a challenge when you're having to go on the road in Autzen and you're trying to make a new change. So I think to simplify things might be one of the things they do. I think if you've watched this defense long enough, you've seen a lot of mental errors. Are guys lined up in the right position? Are guys, do they know what job they're supposed to do? You've seen a lot of that occur, and I think with some of that, you tailor back the amount of processing you want the players to do, and you just let them kind of play football more. And I think that's maybe what Coach Nua and Coach Odom can kind of do.
What does that actually look like? Like, what would that look like on Saturday if they are more quote unquote free?
Yeah, it's lining up and playing football. Sometimes you just want to put your feet down and just do your responsibility. And I think I see a lot of defenders out there questioning whether or not they're in the right spot or what their assignment is. And when you're doing that and the play's snapping and you're not ready to go, you don't really give yourself a chance to play defense. And I always like just lining up. I knew my responsibility. Let me line up. I don't want to move around. I don't want to shift. I want to be in my spot and I want to do my job. And I think that's something they can do a little better is just, all right, let's just take away a lot of the question marks on this and responsibility. So don't worry about this shift or that shift and this motion and who do I got it. All right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to line up here. You're going to put your hand down and you're going to do that. And that's from a D lineman's perspective, but you got to be able to kind of like just tailor it down a little bit. Cause I think it's right now it just seems a lot for all the players. It's kind of swimming in information and not playing fast.
You talked about it with head coach Lincoln Riley earlier, but that banding together that you need to do in this type of situation.
Yep.
And I know Jordan Moore has talked on this show before about kind of the underdog mentality, and maybe that's something that USC needs to embrace. I mean, if you're a leader on this team, what mentality, what are you telling your guys to kind of have each other be backs against the world in this scenario?
Yeah, it's funny because Lincoln mentioned it. It's in these kind of circumstances where a lot of outside noise is swirling around the team.
Yeah.
It's almost better to go on the road and be with your guys, right? It's be with your team, be on the bus, we're on the plane together, and like it's us. We can kind of knock all that out. Obviously, Otson's going to be cranking, and the people will be going crazy, and it'll be an environment, but when you're with your guys in that little crappy locker room the visitors get usually, and and you have to find it together in this raucous environment where everyone is pulling against you. Sometimes that can bind you and bring you together a little bit, and so hopefully they can find that kind of energy, I think, going in this weekend.
As we alluded to, it was a good offensive performance from USC on Saturday. As far as we don't know the status of Marshawn Lloyd going forward, but Austin Jones, the run game that we saw from USC, that seems like the football saying is you always pack a run game. Yep. What do you expect from USC's offense against Oregon?
Yeah, hopefully more of the same. Really, offensively, they were on point on Saturday against Washington. The run game, obviously Marshawn Lloyd's a super talented back, but Austin Jones said, "Hey, don't forget about me. Yeah. I can tote the pill too." And Darwin Barlow got a shot. Really, Brown got a touchdown off the edge and got a chance. And we'll probably see some more of him if Marshawn Lloyd doesn't go. But I just think it's more of the same. They just got to keep operating it at that high level. And And I know we look at some of the mistakes that occurred. You see a fumble, but I just feel like there's so much pressure on this offense to try to perform at such a high level all the time. And it's just not realistic. Football isn't played to perfection, and this offense has been close to it a few times. But to keep it up like that, it's just I think unrealistic. And they're going to have mistakes, but that's when you need to play complementary football with your defense and let them pull you out some binds.
Quickly now, the weather in Eugene seems like it's going to be ugly. Does that actually have an effect as someone who's a veteran of the game?
Yeah, maybe for skill guys, but the big ugly guys don't care. It could be
it's all the same.
It could be 90 degrees or 40 degrees. It's just a mud wrestling out there if it gets wet.
Okay. Alrighty, Sean, we have one more segment. It's the over-under. I guess it's between us. I don't know. You and I usually don't like this segment.
We'll just arm wrestle.
Okay, that works too. I'll lose immediately. But we'll be back with one more segment of Trojans Live next.
Because Trojans Live is back exclusively on your home for Trojans football, AM 790 KABC.
The over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. Already, Sean, I know you love this segment.
Man, this is my favorite thing to do.
You wake up in the morning thinking about over-under.
Over-unders, yeah, and everything I do in life is just an over-under,
Yeah,
really.
100%. Now, caveat here, Jordan Moore's not here to make the wonderful over-unders that he makes.
Yeah, he's wonderful at it. Go ahead.
He is, yes. So I'm just going to highlight USC's run game this past week. USC's averaging almost 5.5 yards per carry this season.
Okay.
Against Oregon, if they rely on the run game in a wet environment, maybe, over-under.
So I kind of feel like I know your answer already.
5.5 yards per carry for USC.
I will go... Will they go over 5.5 yards in average? I mean, that's a high number.
It is. This just goes to your film study at this point of the week.
Yeah.
Like, what have you seen from Oregon's defense?
Yeah, my Monday film study.
You know how it is.
I like the over on this. I think the run game and how Lincoln has been calling the games and feeling out that run at the last couple of weeks. I like the chances and over, and especially with the confidence I think Austin Jones is running with and he gained from last game. Maybe put him on the over 5.5.
I think I'm going to take the over, too.
All right.
Yeah.
So, you got to take the under. I feel like you should take the under.
I'm taking the under, Sean.
There we go. Now that's how you're supposed to do it.
Okay, sorry. I'll be contrasting there. I mean, did you feel like having such a successful run presence put pressure off of Caleb Williams on Saturday? I felt like he was in the zone.
Yeah. I mean, he had a terrific performance, and you could see that. I mean, anytime you can run the ball like that, your offensive linemen feel good about what you're doing. Your quarterback feels like, all right, now, and then the defense has to they have to lock down another aspect of the game. They can't just focus on what Caleb's doing, the wide receivers doing. And so I mean, gotta run the ball, and I think they did it at a high level last week.
As far as where this team sits, Riley talked about how this is still after all of this, they still have a shot to make it to the Pac-12 championship. If you're a veteran leader on this team, especially on the defense, what's the message? Like, how do you get? Because the interesting thing is this team has had so much fight. It's not like the quote unquote locker room is lost. They're still very much in it, both literally and figuratively. How do you kind of unite that to one purpose? Well,
fight is great. It's kind of the bare minimum, though. You expect your team to fight. That's kind of that sometimes when I hear they got a great fight. That's kind of you want bare minimum. You want that team fighting. They are fighting. They are fighting in these games. They got to execute better. They have a chance. The hard thing is, as a player, you don't ever worry about those kind of things like schedules, or you never figure out, we're going to be in this game, Pac-12 championship. You don't think about those things. You're kind of just in the moment. Those things are possible now. They need some things to fall their way now. They don't really control their destiny. They need some breaks now. That's the unfortunate part. They had a chance maybe this week to do that, but couldn't capitalize that. Have to put their head down, worry about Oregon, and trying to right this ship on defense to try to get a win on Saturday.
Overall, I mean, what are you expecting on Saturday? How is this one going to go?
Got to find a way to get a couple wins, I think, against Bo Nix on the defensive side. Now they're going to score some points. They're a good offensive team. They're doing a lot of good things. We just made a switch at defense. We might be a little bit simplified, so they're going to find some holes. But if you can make a couple key plays, special teams, defense, find a couple of those plays, you might have a chance.
Trojans Live is a production of USC Sports Properties and Playfly Sports. Our executive producer is Drew Hart, and our producer is Rick Cutler. Sean, thank you so much for joining me today.
Keely killed it.
Thank you to everyone, the crew. Be sure to watch men's basketball at 7 p.m. Shouts to women's basketball. Got an upset victory this earlier today, but that's going to wrap it up on Trojans Live. Fight on, everybody.
You can't spell victorious without USC.
4th and 9. This is the ball game. Takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, throws for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, USC.
Trojans Live was presented by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Make sure to check back in next Monday night at 7 for more Trojans Live. Exclusively on your home for all things Trojan, AM 790 KABC. And follow us on the USC Trojan Media Network. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Playfly Sports on AM 790 KABC and the USC Trojan Media Network.